Welcome back to another episode of The Shit Show. I am your host, Stacks from Stacks Farmstead, X, YouTube, and Rumble. This is Drew. Drew, say hi to everybody.
What's up, world? Shit show co-host on X, Luminary Mixed Down on IG.
Yeah. Today was um, rough for me, so I'm kind of tired. Um, I had a lot of shit to do today, and I took off work to get it done, and doing my best to stay with it. You know what I mean? It's been one of them days. I was up all night last night, most of the night. We had predators. Neff Hunter, what's up, buddy? Uh, we had predators, and I had to keep an eye on that shit. Saying hi to you, Drew.
What's up, Neff
Um,
Hunter?
so one of the things I wanted to touch on out the gate, I'm sharing this link real quick if it seems like I'm out of it, but one of the things I wanted to touch on real quick was, did I use Drew for a gauge of like what other people out in the world may or may not know, if that makes any sense. Um, because it seems to me that like especially on X, there's a different ecosystem of what's happening out in the world. So because of that, I didn't tell Drew what the initial story was that we were going to talk about because I really wanted to see if he had even heard of it. Q, what up, brother? Q, you get bored later. I'll send you a link if you want to come on. DM me if you want it. Uh, okay, so did on your daily activities, did you come across anything happening in Ireland at all? Did you see any headlines? Did you see any social media posts?
Within the last 24 to 48 hours, no, I actually have not been on any social media platforms in the last day and a half. I got DMs piling up that I got to go look at later. But no, I've been detached for the last
Okay.
24 hours.
Okay. See, this is what I mean about this situation. I kind of like this little bit of a dynamic because it goes to show to me how much it's not being spoken about. But Ireland's on the verge of a civil war, and it's because I'm going to bring some stuff up. It's because a migrant um, allegedly tried to behead a um, citizen. Um, it's kind of graphic, but the one I found isn't too crazy. Let me hold on. I'm gonna bring this up. Now, the dude allegedly didn't die, which is amazing, with it being a beheading or a possible beheading. See that guy?
Yeah. Wow.
Um,
Those are all, I mean, I could see blood, but I see gashes and chunks of flesh missing.
yeah. So he was. I'm gonna show you the actual incident. They caught it on camera. He had him pinned down, and this is obviously an older gentleman, but he had him pinned down. Let me see. I think it's right here.
He's dead, he's just killed him, hurry
He's
up!
dead, he's completely dead.
Yeah, you're
I know
dead!
he's not.
Dead, you're dead, uncle! Has he got a knife?
Yeah. Get off him, you fucking rat. Yo!
You just watching this? Is that that's what's
He's
happening?
dead.
Like
Yeah,
this video and why?
He's trying to cut his head off, he's mate, hurry up!
Hurry up!
He's slicing his head off here, hurry up the fuck!
Get him
Hurry,
back
hurry,
in.
Come that bastard! Come
Look,
that
Get
like,
him!
you cucked bastards. You're just gonna sit there and watch this happen? Is that what's happening right now? The other citizens. I mean, a woman. I'll half-ass. Okay, I kind of understand, but she should still be getting involved. The dude I just heard. What are you doing?
Get him!
You know what I mean?
Move on! Yes! Yes! Get up! Get up!
Where's the cops? Where's the cops? Back off, back off, back off. What?
Yeah, the fucking cop ain't there to do anything, so don't back up.
Yeah, I mean, you can get me going on a whole rant about that particular thing, but there's more. They are now going to, so the citizens are now going to like migrant houses and marking the houses and harassing them. Some have been set on fire. There's it's getting wild, and yeah, exactly. Direct result of banning guns. Yeah.
It could be just the wrong people at the wrong time in the video, but nobody there seems like they're at all inclined for violence. Like, what is the one guy hitting him with? A fucking wiffle ball bat or something like that you would like spank your kid with? I don't understand why you didn't just crack his fucking head open.
I mean, this is why I thought it would be an interesting subject for a couple of different things. I don't necessarily like to put this stuff in the ether, but it should at the very least be talked about. I don't understand watching that. Okay, like I don't have it in me to do that. I don't give a shit who the attacker is or whatever, but like I'm not watching you slice somebody's face open right in front of me. Is that just me? I don't know. Like look, I have the ability to stop him. So like I'm not going to sit there and be on the phone with the police and wait for them to come while he's carving them up like a fucking turkey on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I got a question because I'm assuming it. I mean, again, you see that everywhere, but I'm unaware of what the culture is in modern day Ireland. Like, is it like Britain? Like guns are banned. They're sending you to jail.
Citizens
for,
of
like,
Ireland.
posts. Like, what are they dealing with this term in terms of the average citizen? Because, I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around why nobody. You know, and again, maybe it was just the wrong group of people out there. Maybe there was somebody that would have, you know, did something. But like, what are they living under? Like, what kind of rule of law, mindset wise? Like, it's
New York.
illegal,
You know
no
what it is. It's just like New York. That's what they're living under. Picture New York.
Yeah.
Picture New York, but with a ton of Irish and now a shit ton of African migrants.
And the person like you or I who may step in and actually do something would be the next Daniel Penny. Gotcha.
Yes.
So there's not just fear of the attacker, but fear of the repercussions and the prosecution. And yeah, so they're setting their citizens up to fail. Shame on Ireland or the government, the Ireland government.
Here's the important part that I'm getting to. Yeah, that's fucked up, but listen to this.
Citizens of Ireland, we address you tonight with a heavy heart, but with a firm resolve. We are the Irish Citizen Army, also known as the ICA. We created the rebirth of the ICA of 1913. We are all citizens, fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters, driven to finally take action on the intolerable corruption which is forced on us by the Irish and British governments. We also believe that the British government has no right in Ireland, has never had any right in Ireland, and never can have any right in Ireland. We represent all of Ireland's 32 counties. We refuse to witness the suffering of our citizens. Our Irish citizens refuse to be treated as second-class citizens on their own island. We, the ICA, refuse to witness our heritage and culture being erased. We refuse to witness the suffering and killing of innocent Irish citizens. We, the ICA, will fight for Ireland. We, the ICA, will take the necessary steps to achieve our goals.
Okay. So, there's an important context there. Can you still hear this?
Yeah.
Okay, something cut out for me. I'm going to let it keep going.
Our plan is to take action on the injustice of Irish citizens and to fight for a fair, free and independent Ireland. We are fighting for our future, the future of our children, the future of Ireland. We are fighting for our identity, our heritage and our culture. Our system is corroded from within, of the institutions of state hollowed out by greed and self-interest. We have borne witness to a creeping paralysis within the very heart of our government. Laws crafted to serve the people have been twisted to serve private pockets. public funds intended for healthcare, education, the protection of our communities, for our own homeless and our children have been siphoned off, diverted, or simply vanished into the ether of unaccountability.
Our communities, once bastions of neighborly support, are fracturing under the weight of fear. We hear your pleas, we see your worry, and the grim reality is that our country is no longer safe to walk the streets. Between the sheer number of illegal, undocumented military-age male migrants that flood our once beautiful streets, causing fear, terror, and threat of violence upon Irish communities, our own government threatened to remove our beautiful and sacred tricolour, the flag that so many brave men and women fought for. The very notion of peace and order, hard won over generations, is being systematically dismantled. We cannot allow the dream of a truly independent Ireland, won through such hardship, to be corrupted into a hollow shell serving only a select few. For a truly legal and a truly independent Ireland, for a nation where justice is paramount and its citizens can walk their streets in safety, action will be required. Not merely words, but decisive, principled action. We call upon all citizens, all institutions, all those who believe in the promise of this nation, to stand with us. The path ahead will be challenging, but it is a path we must together embark upon to save our country and our citizens. Thank you for listening.
Okay. As you read that, Drew, or as you listen to that, what's your feel? Like, you just learned about this, you just seen, and this, let me put it this way, this is just the spark on the kindling. Like, these things have been happening all across the UK. Ireland's part of the UK. There's parts of Ireland that are Ireland that used to, this is, I'm going to try and simplify this. Belfast, where this happened, is technically the UK, but it's on the island known as Ireland. So, the Irish, the British, Welsh, Scottish, they're under siege from all of this. They've been flooded with migrants. And just for context, the size of Ireland is only slightly bigger than most states. So when you take a massive amount of migrants and dump them into a place like this, they get overwhelmed pretty quickly. The capacity to do that here at that scale is too much, but the same thing is happening. It's just watered down right now, if that makes any sense. So, like, they're dumping the same amount of people here that they are over there, only they see the ramifications a whole lot more, a whole lot faster because of the size. You know, the scale isn't there. So, like, you know, when we get these people, it's really watered down. We still have stuff like this happen all the time, but it's not as concentrated. So the idea that it's come to a boiling point there now, where I'm sure you've heard of the Irish Republican Army and what they were capable of back in the day.
I was looking at it like the IRA, but it's the ICA. Not, you know, two birds of a feather, I guess, but just different motivation at this state in time.
Yeah.
No,
Plus,
they were definitely not to be fucked with. I know that.
I mean, listen, in my mind, I think it's the same thing. I think that the IRA just ended up with implications where if you said you were IRA, they could try and charge you with terrorism. So instead of them coming out and just saying that, they're saying something similar, but it's the same. You know what I mean? It's the same people going to eventually do the same thing for the same kind of reasons. You know, they're rebelling against the government.
That's why it's the Republic Army, and it's just now they're probably changing it, like you said, to not draw that old stigma and the heat that can come with it. But
yeah, I would assume, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct, but I would assume that's exactly why they chose ICA instead of IRA. But This is the gauge. Like a lot of the people that might be listening to this show may already be aware of this because they're probably more active on different socials than you are, which is why I'm saying to you this one little clip of this guy trying to carve up another guy, and then seeing this. Like, what do you think about that?
Uh, a mixture of rage and optimism, because unfortunately it takes things to happen for people to learn, and I feel like a sleeping giant is awoken in, more than just in Ireland, in a lot of places. But this was inevitable, and it's sad that it takes shit like this. An innocent guy, we assume it's an innocent guy in the street getting carved up, and then everybody, in Ireland, getting enraged, and now, moving forward. Like, if that's what it takes, if there has to be casualties, it's sad that that's what it takes, but good. I'm glad to see that at least it seems like the beginnings of the rebellion. And, Ireland's living under British rule in terms of law, and they don't give a fuck about anybody. They don't care about the Irish. They don't care about the British, the Scottish. They don't give a shit about anything. So if Ireland is now going to join the fight, good. It's sad that's what it takes, but good. I'm optimistic and, yeah, fucking let's go. But it's just sad that that's what it has to come to, and there's going to be a lot more violence before there'll be peace. But yeah, it's despicable. It's despicable how one nation can dictate such a widespread rule over people who don't want to live under these kind of regimes and have to sacrifice. So you could imagine the contrast in culture between Britain and Ireland, if you want to talk cultures, and then now you dump all these illegals in this small area of a state-sized nation, and yeah, man, it's fucking sickening. So, keep going, boys. Like, get out there, do what you got to do. Unfortunately, it ain't gonna be easy. But yeah.
So this is them. This is them going to homes that there's a giant mob of them. If I think in a minute you'll get the scale. This is allegedly a migrant neighborhood, and they're going, and there's some circumstances where they're marking it so that they can come back later. There's other ones where they're vandalizing it. There's some where people are being evacuated to get away from them. Look at all them people.
Yeah, I'm gonna think that it's hard not to have a knee-jerk reaction, but in some of these places they're going to lies the, we'll say, harmless mother and children. You got to be careful to not put yourself. You could quickly become the bad guy in a situation, especially how like the media and the news is twisted. So you get a bunch of a bunch of angry Irishmen, and maybe they beat up some migrant child or woman, and not to say they don't have they don't have a right to be upset that they're there, but you got to be careful who you enact violence on, because it could your cause could blow up in your face, especially with the system working against you, that's trying to prop up the illegals as the victims and the citizens as the bad guys. That's the narrative. Right. So
okay, allow me to reframe this.
Yeah. Meanwhile, wasn't it promoting violence with this immigrant carving the guy up? That's not promoting violence.
Yes, and I mean that's the thing is that and this is the other part where you can tell. The first thing is Neff Hunter's correct here, where they're talking about cracking down on X because it's spreading hate, fear. That actually came from a policeman in Belfast that said that they didn't want people sharing it because it was ramping people up. And that should tell you who's on whose side, right? Because if the roles were reversed, then would it be the same? No. So this is metrics on how we gauge what's happening. And why it's happening, okay? They're being protected even after this horrific thing, right? Because, again, if it was an Irishman that attacked an immigrant and started to carve his face open, it would be handled differently. So let me just say first, almost all of them came there illegally and were allowed to by the government. The government looked the other way when they showed up on boats or they assisted them in doing this. And this type of thing is inevitable. So while it's easy and short-sighted to lash out at those people, which I'm not saying is right or wrong, you need to understand where I'm going with this. That doesn't address the root problem. Who let them in and when and why? So like that's the ultimate, like if you're going to be smart about this, if you're going to address this in this way, this is the same thing as Black Lives Matter burning down an auto parts store because George Floyd died, right? Like you're not accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the governments, especially in the United States, they want you to do this. It's the same thing as somebody poking you in the chest that wants to fight. They want you to do this. The one thing that they do know how to handle is violence, especially violence where they are not the direct recipient. So, like what I said back in the day is that if you really cared about any of this, you have to be smart. You have to boil it down. How did we get here? There's all kinds of immigration law that wasn't enforced. Who did that? So you need to address the problem, not the symptom of the problem. By going after these people, which, again, I understand the knee-jerk reaction, but by going after these people, you're not going to accomplish anything. What you are going to do is give the powers that be what they want. They want a narrative that you're hateful and fearful and that this is something that has to do with racism or whatever, right? But they're still pulling the strings while you're attacking the Sudanese fucking piece of shit, right? So do you see what I'm getting at? Like, and I'm not advocating for anything. I'm saying that when you go to solve a problem, you have to get to the root of the problem or the problem doesn't get fixed. If you just cut a weed off at the surface of the ground, the roots are still there and it will grow back. So, you have to understand that like this, you may be being provoked into doing this. They may want you to do this because what happens after it gets out of control?
Yeah, they send in the boys. They send in the hit squads to round everybody up, make arrests, prosecute people, and that's kind of what I was saying about if Ireland is under British rule of government, this is all intentional. Britain is been facilitating the fall of Europe and selling their people out, and it's spreading now. The citizens of Ireland got to get free of British control, and I know that's way easier said than done at this point in time. But like you said,
that's not even the case. That's not even what. That's not the circumstance. The circumstance are the politicians that are in power, are the ones that are greenlighting all of this. The people
that's what
that
I meant by government.
Ireland has its own government. Just parts of it belong to the UK.
Parts of it belong to the UK.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the British government that's in place now has no power to stop this, or they're being bought off too by the
politicians, all of them, including ours and all of the other places throughout the world that allow this, are the problem. They are the ones it's the same ones that are the problem with data centers that nobody wants, right? They don't care what you think. They don't care if it hurts you. They could give a shit less. And they continue to do it because nobody goes after them. That's why. That's what it is. You can go kill all the migrants you want, and it won't fix anything. It won't. Because the people that are greenlighting it are still going to continue to greenlight it. They're still at the levers of power, and they still have the authority to direct the men with guns to go after you. So again, I don't I don't want this to be taken any way at all. I'm saying there's a problem and there's the root to the problem. If you don't identify that, you don't have any change. So, like, that's what I'm trying to say is that if use use your brain and think through the situation. You go and you kick in every door and burn down every migrant's house. What happens next?
The cops come
Like,
and riot control.
not
You'll be the bad
and
guy.
nothing changes for any better.
Nope.
Like, it's not going to achieve the goal that you think it's going to. Now, this could be the opening step into doing something that could actually matter, but you have to understand that like they know how to handle this stuff. This is what they do. The problem reaction solution, Hegelian dialectic. So you create the problem so that there is so that you are asked to solve it because the solution is what you ultimately wanted. So this is why I'm saying think. Like, I know emotions can run high, but think. Think about what you're doing and does it address the actual problem, right? So, I mean, this is why I'm saying, like, I encourage people to actually try to understand the situation and not knee-jerk reaction. What this is not the movies. This is not the movies where you have been told that, like, you know, the most violent actually wins. It's like you have to direct it in the right spot with precision and understand that like there are people that are green lighting the situation that you now live in, that we all now live in. And until that is resolved, the problem will continue. So I don't know if that makes any, if I'm being clear enough, but like this is a message to anybody that feels that way, is that you can't fix it by burning down migrants' houses. Best case scenario, you get some of them to move away from where you are, but they're not going back to their. They're not. Sorry to cut it to you, but I mean, like, that's the case. That isn't going to fix anything. It will have a temporary solution which creates a problem that they have the answer for, and they're waiting for you to do it. So until you address the actual problem, the rest of it doesn't do anything. I have been trying to explain this for I don't know how long. Periodically, when we touch on subjects like this, even like, you know, not just like on the show, but it's like I don't think most people are getting the full picture. I don't think that they completely understand how this works. Again, it's the same. How did you perceive when Black Lives Matter was burning down their own cities instead of going after the people that they were angry about? This is the same thing. It's the same thing. You can't fix it like that. That's not how it works. The people that are creating the problems are the ones that you need to go after, and it's not the migrants. Now, what I'm saying is that doesn't mean that they stay there in the aftermath. That doesn't mean that they stay there during whatever happens. But what I'm saying is if you focus all your energy on that, nothing is going to change. And you're not like, there is quote unquote innocent people, but at the same time, they shouldn't be there. And like, that's the problem. But like, you know, are you really able to start dragging a mother and her kids out onto the street and tell them that they can't be here anymore? The problem is you have to figure out who told them that they could be here and then address them. That's how you get resolution. There was a point in time when politicians feared the people because they would be tarred and feathered, right? If they didn't do what the people said. They're there as elected representatives. What we have now is a corrupt system with criminals that will lie to get into positions to get their hand in that cookie jar. And they don't care how it affects anybody else. All they understand is money and power. That's it. They don't care about anything else. So that's where your attention should be. I don't know if, to me, it's just plain as day. To me, it's just as simple as it can possibly be. But I don't know that other people completely understand it, because you still see people amped up and cheering on the idea that like attacking the migrants is going to fix the problem.
Unfortunately, a lot of people. I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to shit on some people. They don't have the intelligence, the emotional intelligence to put away that knee-jerk reaction, because the frontline enemy that they're seeing is the immigrant up the block who carves the guy up. They're not seeing the politician, or maybe they're not thinking that far ahead that, well, who let them in here and why did they let him in here? It's kind of like that takes effort, at least for some people. And the masses are not the smartest. That's why we are where we are as a planet of human beings, is because over time we get comfortable and we get used to trusting people that should never have been trusted. And, they this is the bad guy, this is the boogeyman. And, 8 out of 10 people, that's as far as they can see. And it's sad. So, it's...
Let me show you something I stumbled across that I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you're kind of speaking my language here. Hold on a second.
You are living under a regime that hates you, not misunderstands you, hates you. A Talmudic machine engineered for your erasure, guided by texts that call you cattle, led by men who grin as your daughters are defiled and your sons are drugged, docile and dumb. They own the courts, the currency, the curriculum. You were not simply abandoned. You were targeted. Your heritage is mocked, your faith inverted, your bloodline diluted on purpose. And still you ask, what can we do? I tell you now, build the ark or drown. There will be no reckoning from within the system. No politician is coming. No court will rule in your favor. The Constitution is a carcass, picked clean by rats in robes and suits. Every lever of power answers not to you, but to a foreign code, a Talmudic code, that sees your extinction as righteous. They have told you who they are. They have written it down, and they are acting on it while you kneel and pray for mercy they will never give. So rise, build the parallel structure, build the farm, the school, the fortress, the network. Forge the tribe that cannot be bought, that cannot be infiltrated, that fears no label and bends to no pressure. The time for illusions is over. The collapse is not coming. It is here. And if you do not create something of your own, then your children will be raised by the enemy, fed poison, and made to worship the ones who ruined them. A new order must be born, not in Washington, not in Davos, but in your backyard, among men you trust, on soil you till, in homes you defend. Let them have their empire of filth. You build the cathedral of kin, duty, and steel. Teach the old ways, speak the old tongue, make pacts in blood, print books, stock grain, train arms, create your own schools, your own rights, your own laws. Raise sons of vengeance, not sons of surrender.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how they always show, like, Manhattan, too, as, like, apocalypse. Babylon, and then they show the island of Manhattan, and it's like, yeah. JC in the comments, shout out to JC, become Amish. Yeah. That's not a bad idea.
Dude, listen, seriously, I don't want to use the word envy, but I really appreciate what they do. They showed you the map. They showed you the map of what to do. You know, they don't have to pay taxes. Do you know that? Do you know that they're free to do what they want on their own land? They have their own schools. They teach their own stuff. They can exist without the system. They can complete if the system crumbled right now and all the power went out and all of the supply chains broke down, they'd be fine. They wouldn't even know the difference.
Yeah. there's power in that. There's a lot of power in that because you don't allow anyone to have any power over you. So,
So
not a bad idea.
here's the thing, like, I don't disagree with Q here, but this is my point. They want you to do that. They want you to do that. They want you to be violent. You have to understand that. I am not saying that I don't want to be. Okay? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I'm smart enough to know, and I hope other people are as well, that this is a provocation. They are trying to get you to be violent. Understand that that's what's happening. All of these things it turns into a win-win for them, because you have to go to them for everything. You have to go for them for permission to drive, to fish, to carry a gun, to go hunting, right? You have to go to them for everything. And then, while all your permission slips might be granted, then they tax you to holy hell, right? Like they take half of everything at a minimum, right? You have to understand this. Without being able to take care of yourself, you can't be violent to them, because they know how to deal with the violence. They are waiting for you to be violent. And if it ever goes large scale and you have no way to be self-sufficient enough, if you have no skills, if you have no way of making food, if there's no community, if there's no connection, we are a broken people right now because there's no community. What are you going to do by yourself? Think about it. Like, you're not part of a community that knows how to interact, and this person does this and that person does that, and we work together and we have a common goal. Without that, you can't succeed. You can't. You have to be able to forge a community of like-minded people, build a parallel system, and then when they inevitably come, do what must be done. Because if you just lash out, it won't be difficult. They want you to lash out because they have you over a barrel. You won't be able to resist it for long. They will unleash all of the stuff that they've been unleashing on people all over the world. It doesn't mean that it's a sure L for the people that are fighting back. What I'm saying is it's a bad battle plan.
Yeah, and the people who want this, who want you to fight, they're never the ones who are going to be fighting themselves. They're never going to get their hands dirty. So for them to make the hard decisions, it's a game to them. It's like a video game. So, cause and reaction. They want you to be violent so they could shut you down, arrest you, strip you of your rights, lock you up, martial law, whatever their goal is, shut your power off, curfew, enact curfews, whatever they want to do. The people making these decisions who want this are not even the people who are going to be out in the street that you'd be fighting with. So I mean, listen, I have to give respect where respect due as like from like an evil mastermind perspective, man. They really have done well over the centuries of perfecting this, having us destroy ourselves, we'll just say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's not like there's no hope. It just means you and I and us do not have the ability now to do enough violence to change what's happening right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and again, they want you to be. This is why, ultimately the getting connected with God and finding your way through, trying to find a community that feels the same way as you do about these things and building something parallel to it is how you begin. It's how you start. Everything else, this whole jump in and grab a rifle and just start going apeshit, I understand wanting to do it. I understand. But what I'm saying is it's not going to it's not going to get you where you think it's going to go. This is not the movies. This is not what you dreamed up. It does not work that way. I don't know, and it feels like, it's like a Debbie Downer type situation because you really want to cheer on the Irish, and I do. I'm part Irish. I do. I want to cheer them on. But until your focus is in the right place, if you get a win, it will be short lived.
Yeah,
He won.
I like to see 500 Irishmen outside the Irish Parliament.
Yeah.
Or wherever they got to go to, whoever's
Yeah.
making these, put pressure on the right neck, step
Yeah.
on the right neck. That
Yeah,
would be great.
exactly. And I was just getting ready to say the one upside for the Irish is that they have such a smaller place that numbers do matter a lot more. You know what I mean? Like if they were able to get a fair amount of people together, it could be more effective given that it's a smallish island. Like I said, the Ireland itself is only slightly bigger than most states. It's not like this massive continent or something like that. It is big, don't get me wrong. But like in comparison to the US, it's a whole different animal. So until they focus on the right spot, until they understand what should be done, I wish them the best of luck, but they need a leader that understands that before they jump in and do anything too crazy.
Yeah. Damn, that's sad to hear that. I feel like not that it's ever been different, but like not a day goes by where something like this isn't happening somewhere. But now to like see it every day posted, it's like the world has full access to all this stuff, and it'd be nice to see more of a balance and a little bit more good and a little less bad. But I guess we'll see what happens in the coming months and years because things are definitely changing. I feel it's just how much are they changing and how fast. But I think it's a different change, different level of change that has more lasting implications of a change than anything we've seen in maybe our lifetime.
Yeah, something's happening. I've been saying that for a while. I cannot put my finger on it. But something is happening. I don't know what. I don't know. I don't even know if I quite know how to verbalize it, but something is going on, that's for sure. Like, I don't know. Just things feel like they're changing in a way where it's like, I don't think we've seen this before. And I'm not even sure that I mean, like, the government's going to be good now. Like, that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is I think there's something bigger that is coming. I don't know what that is, though. I really don't. You ever know, like, let me give you an example. So, like, I have, for lack of better words, it's like a sixth sense about some things. I can be in the woods and not be able to see anything, but know something's there. Like, if I'm sitting in a spot and I take it all in for long enough, there's a deer behind the bush, and nobody can visually see it. I've done this with my wife before, where it's like there's something right over there, and nobody can see it. And then a few seconds later, it comes out of the bush. It's something like that, if that makes any sense. Where like, it feels like something's coming. I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly, but something's coming.
It's a form of intuition.
Yeah. You want to add anything on that?
Yeah, no. I definitely feel I have some level of intuition myself, even when I'm not looking at things. And I don't know. I feel like we're kind of in a state where there's this great unknown. It just it opens up so many more questions. Some days it gets overwhelming, and that's why, like yesterday, I tuned off. I didn't even go on social media just to restart and refresh my mind before I, get back into turning on the news and another a bombing, a murder, or this or that, and it's like, okay, it's. I wish that there was some way of gauging, like where something pivotal was going to happen that was going to kind of show us where things are going, because it's everything's just so up in the air. I'd like to believe, like, okay, more people are waking up, more people are becoming conscious and aware of things that 5-10 years ago people weren't even conscious about. But it's such a slow start, and we have such opposition of stupid people, that it's like it's a seesaw: hopeful, hopeless, hopeful, hopeless, and trying, I guess, find that balance. That's what I kind of deal with on a day to day, whether it's my personal shit or just the world at large. Yeah, man, crazy shit.
Well, on another type of note, so this is where I think I find the most. This will sound corny to some people, but this is where I see the most viable change. When you see things happen that, because my belief is this: how we change this is by building. We have to build. We're in the stages where if you want something to change, you have to build the alternative first, right? This is where I sit out on my belief system right now, is that you can't burn it down without having the foundation of something else started, because that intermediate time would be havoc, right? So, like building a family, finding a way to become self-sufficient. I think if you don't have that, you don't have anything, because you have to be dependent on the system, period. So like what we're essentially talking about is the system would have to burn. Here's what some people don't know. In about 3 weeks, the oil and gas is going to skyrocket. Right now, Trump has been dipping into the reserves to keep them stable. And that's going to run out in 2 to 3 weeks. Now, the flip side to that is that Iran is still not figured out. The strait is still technically closed, even though it's a fascinating thing whenever you see Trump say the strait's open and they're like, no, the fuck it ain't. Like, it's fascinating to watch it all happen. But here's what I do know. There's not oil coming from over there. And that's where all the oil came from at one point. And there was no parallel system established here that could set up so that the transition wasn't so rough. Okay? So even if they figured out the strait today, which is not going to happen, but even if they figured it out today, it would still take at a minimum, and this would be like a hope shot, 6 months for things to stabilize. Which means $10 a gallon gas, $15 a gallon gas, not being able to find motor oil in the store to change your oil. This is coming. But just so you know, this is inevitable.
And I thought they keep saying about all the boatloads of oil and from Venezuela or somewhere else that they were getting a whole bunch of oil from. It's like, I mean, I don't look too deep into it, but it's like so much bullshit, or just lying or inaccuracy, or what's real, what's not real, or this should offset what's going on in Iran, and it doesn't, and it's just, yeah.
They don't, no matter where it comes from, they don't have the scale. You know how much gas and oil is consumed in the United States?
More than I think.
It's all, a large percentage of it is coming from refineries in the Middle East. If you turn that tap off, there's nowhere else to get it from at that scale. So the gas and oil that the little bit that we will have will be coming from other places that don't have to go through the strait, but they don't make enough. There won't be enough. and we're burning through the reserves now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to use this as an example is that the change that we were talking about is coming. Maybe this is part of it. I don't know. But they will not be able to figure this out in time for people not to hurt from it. It won't happen. I'm saying that because it's another example of what I'm trying to portray, where you don't have a parallel system built to supplement what you're doing now. So when you blow that up on behalf of Israel, there was nothing else that could take its place. So here comes the pain. And people aren't ready for it. So when you're out there and you're talking about, yeah, we need a revolution, you don't know what you're talking about. You can't survive without the system. You can't. When the power gets turned off and the water isn't clean anymore, that's the system. You can't survive without it. And there is no take out the head and then everything's fine. It's not how it's going to work. Okay? So what I'm saying is like, if you can't start at the place where you're building, you need to be building something. You need to be building in the way that, like, these things that are beyond our control, that if something inevitably happens, that you can supplement it in a way where it's not as painful. And then as you're continuing to build, that pain becomes less and less relevant. So, again, people watch too many fucking movies. They have this idea in their head that you're just going to gun up and run into the Capitol and everything will be fine. You have no idea what happens next. Like, nobody. Like, I can tell you that nobody has thought this through. Most people have not thought this through. The people that have thought it through are building. That's what's happening. The people that have built it through are building something. So this is what I'm getting at. Anybody that's in their comfortable position that thinks that they got a couple thousand rounds in a rifle and that this is going to get them through the shit is dead fucking wrong. You don't understand what happens next. You don't understand how this actually works. I'll go hunting. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, I'll go hunting. Do you think there isn't another... let me guess. I think there's about 100 million people that probably all said that. How many deer do you think are in the woods? Did you know during the Great Depression the white-tailed deer was almost made extinct for the same reason?
I remember hearing that, yeah.
There's more people now.
Way more.
So what I'm saying is that I'm trying to use this as a way to paint a bigger picture for people that the intentions are good, but they don't know what they're talking about. They haven't thought this all the way through. Because ultimately what it turns into is people end up eating each other. And I know that sounds extreme, but that's where the fuck it goes.
You know, I think I was mentioning this to you the other day, and it's fiction, but I was bored the other day. I'm flicking through the TV, and I'm like, all right, I just need something to watch for like a half hour to fall asleep. And I circled back to The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Now that's like the first 5-6 seasons when they're at a farm and they're fighting all these hordes of zombies. They end up at a prison trying to cultivate the land. Who's a farmer? Who knows this? Who knows this? That skill, this skill. And the metaphor is there's not going to be these dead alive, rotting corpse zombies. Those are going to be the masses of people who didn't prepare and who are not aware and panic in these mobs. And you're going to have to fend them off with no clean water, no running water, trying to hunt. If you watch those first 6-7 seasons and you see how hard it is, no medications, no doctors, no urgent cares, no electricity, to light fires, and as the seasons go on, everybody's using less guns because ammo's running out. And then there's a season where they got, the guy Eugene who's, remanufacturing ammo, but like how many times you going to reload the same fucking casings that you're spending? You maybe going to get 2 reloads out of a good quality brass. So like everything like runs out. Like who's making new brass? Who's making more powder? Who's making this? And that goes across everything. Food, bandages, and gas, fuel, everything you can think of. And it's kind of like that would be what the fuck you were in for minus the zombies. It'd be people alive running and moving a lot faster, wielding weapons, pillagers, and like pretty much what the Saviors did. Anybody familiar with the show? But much worse, especially in the beginning when everybody's panicked. That first year to 2 years, a lot of people are going to get culled, as you say.
There's a good takeaway from that as an example, because ultimately they have to start turning to the old ways in order to survive.
And water herbs and all that shit.
Which, what do you think I'm building, right? What do you think I'm trying to encourage other people to build? Like, this is my point. And some of this sounds a little bit selfish in a way, but I want to help people with this message, even though nobody listens. Nobody. Not a single motherfucker listens. Everybody's too caught up with their own shit. They don't want to take the time to work. There's a reason why they can't do it. But the point is that the more people that start to do this, the better off they and their family will be, and whoever they choose to help will be, and also less people that threaten the people that are building. You see what I'm saying? So because people turn animalistic, and that's what's going to happen. They're going to turn animalistic, and the reason why they're going to do that is because they don't have anything. So where are they going to go? To people or places that have things. So the more people try to build this parallel system for themselves, the more people that can be helped, and the less people become the agitators. So, it's helpful in a lot of different ways. And there is so much to learn that it actually becomes fun. Like it does. Like, the stuff you can pick up on that you never knew before, a lot of it's fascinating. Like stuff that we take for granted now, right? Just a simple thing of being able to try and generate power. Like it's doable. It's doable. Nobody wants to do it because they always think the power is going to be on. That's something I run into all the time working for the utility company. It's like, why did you turn off my power? Well, it's not your power. It's the utility company's power that you're paying for. So that's the mindset. That's the mindset. This is not your power. You're not even entitled to this if because this is how it actually works. You're paying for a service, and if you don't pay for it, it's turned off. Is it still your power then? No, of course not. You get something that you're paying for. So you see what I'm saying about the mindset? Like how people have become so adjusted to the idea of that they're entitled to it. And they don't understand. I tried to tell her one lady, she's all angry. My power's out. I can't do this. I can't do that. What am I going to do? And I said, what would you do if a car hit the pole outside and knocked the transformer down? What would you do then? Because this is the same situation. Like it's just a different reason why it was turned off. You're completely unprepared. This is an opportunity for you to think about that this is not a guarantee to be on. And if you need it to be on to survive, you need to rethink things. So, I try to point this stuff out, and no matter what, like that person, the second that it's over, they will go right back to usual. They won't even consider the idea of trying to find a way with a generator or solar or anything at all for that matter. Like they just won't. They won't. And I say that because I've been doing this for years. Before I had the show, before I could say it to anybody, and not a single person that has had something happen that I presented the answer to wants to do the work. Nobody wants to build. Nobody wants to do the work because the people that are already doing it.
Yeah, well, I'm soon to be one of those people, so you can count me as one motherfucker who'll listen to you.
I've been building for 20 years. I've fallen many times, but I've got more now than I did when I started. That's the way to be. See? That's the way to do it. You have to look, I mean, you have to start somewhere. Nobody's starting off with a fucking full-fledged self-sufficient farm. You know what I mean? That's not happening. So, just start. Just start doing it. It's really, like I said, it's really not that hard. Look, I want to share something real quick about what I mean, because this is actually really cool in this part. This is something I filmed earlier today on my property. I had no idea. We got koi. Oh, sorry. We got koi and
For a
goldfish
second,
in the
I
pond.
thought we had a problem with mosquito larvae. Then I figured out these are baby fish. There's a lot of them.
Sound like a half retard.
They
There's
must
a
have
lot
just
of them.
spawned, I think, last night or over the last couple of days. Super cool to see that they're doing that.
So, I mean, it's an example, right? Like, look, that pond is not like this big, massive pond, but we needed, we needed a water source. Water was collecting there anyway, so we just kind of refined it. We made it an area. It's become extremely valuable because pond water, when it's done the right way, is also like a fertilized water. You can take that because the fish shit in it, right? So you can take that and you can water your plants with it. Helps the plants grow. It's better than the chlorinated water that comes out of the sink, right? So, and also when it gets really hot, the water because that one's lined. The water stays there, and the animals come over and drink from it. And then the other cool twist to it is that like something that I created, me and my son with our bare hands, and we introduced life to it, is now producing more life. Right? So like that's really, yeah, I did sound like I had done. It was hot. It was hot as hell. I was up all night, keeping the predators at bay, and I walked outside in the morning with my coffee, and I looked down. I was like, "Would you look at that?" Now, I mean, with life also comes death. A lot of those fish will die. A lot of them die off. It happens. Same thing with the predators, right? Like the predators killed off a bunch of baby chicks and 4 of my hens. So now I have to sacrifice while I'm building, right? I have to sacrifice. This is me trying to explain it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This is me being up all night to take care of predators so that the life that's on the property that I built can continue to thrive. There's setbacks all the time. You try to build something, it doesn't quite go as planned, you have to readjust. This is part of the thing. But you don't have that correlation when you go to the grocery store strictly for your chemical-laced food, right? So it's like it's a whole different learning process, and I think that it gives you a better perspective on the world as well, because as cool as that is to see, there's going to be death coming from it, and it gives you that perspective of like, if you do well, life can thrive. That doesn't mean that it's all sunshine and rainbows, right?
Yeah.
I don't like taking pictures of stuff like that. I'm not proud of it. I don't enjoy it. It's just something that had to be done. I really don't like doing shit like that. An automatic well, that's pretty cool. I need a well bad. Yeah. I need, see, the problem is if the well, at least around here, it would have to, they charge you at the beginning for 100 feet. Most wells are a little below that. And they charge you per foot. So roughly, which there's no guarantee, and once they're started, what sense would it make to stop because you had a limit? But roughly, a well would cost anywhere between 30 and 50 grand to have them come up and dig it, to put the pipe in the ground. And that's just a window, right? Like, because you just don't know, like, when they're actually going to hit water. So I basically know where water is. We have a spring on our property that I'm going to be taking advantage of. Um, we have a spring on our property that I'm going to be taking advantage of, where I'm going to dig it out and make sort of a surface well with it. You know, fresh, clean water comes out. I had it tested. They say that that spring has been there for a very long time. They used to actually, just not to go off on a tangent, but so you know, the reason why that pond pulled at that spot is because that was a basement of a house. It was concave. So when we started digging it, all those stones you see around it is all from the foundation of this really old house, a house from somewhere in the 1700s. They built a road down the hill parallel to that, and everyone basically abandoned those houses that were up there. They've been knocked down and gone for a long time. Before that happened, people got their water all along where that street is. I actually found a street under the dirt. Drew has seen it. You couldn't tell that it was there when I bought the place. It was completely grown over. I started making a path, and I found remnants of asphalt. This was a township street at one point that's been long abandoned. There's gas lines that run beside it that I found when I was digging, water lines. I'm explaining this because the remnants of what once was is still there, and I'm going to try and bring some of it back. But when you go down that road to the spring area, there's an old pump house that's there. It's still there. It's fallen down a little bit, but it's a brick pump house. They used to pump the water out of there for the houses that are down the road. So some of the infrastructure that's there is still viable right now. And if I do my job, then I can bring a lot of it sort of back to life. So that's what I'm going to try and do, because the $50,000 is not, and you don't even know if you hit water at 50 grand. You know, you could get lucky and it could be a lot shorter. You know what I mean? But you don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah, and if you go that route, you're so committed at that point. How do you not go? Well, let's go another 10 feet. Let's go another 10 feet, and they charge you by the foot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're lucky down there in Florida because the water table is probably much, much shorter than it would be in Pennsylvania. That said, though, I would love to try to get one in regardless. But we do rain collection for most things, which that's another thing, a system that like I've been refining over time. I just cleaned the gutters today. Matter of fact, that's part of what I was doing. It was baking outside with the sun. I'm up on the roof pulling the gutters out, cleaning them up, putting cleaner in there to get it all nice and sparkled up so that the water runs down, gets collected from the roof, runs down to a 325-gallon tank that's inside of a garage area. From there, once that fills up, there's an overflow that goes back underground and goes out to that pond that I was talking about. From that pond, it goes into a pond beside it that has a little path over it, like so you can walk in between them, sort of a bridge in a way. That one is not lined. That one is to feed the fruit trees water that are right in the front yard right there. And then any excess of that is another pipe that's corrugated that goes underground out over the hill. So we try to make as much use of the rainwater as we can. And there's filters along the way that go inside the house that we use for cleaning. This is not what you would say is drinking water, but you can treat it pretty easily. There's a couple different filters that are along the way. It pumps into the house. There's a filter on there. You can use chlorination, like you can use the littlest bit of chloride and clean the shit out of that so that there's no bacteria. I still wouldn't drink it unless we boiled it. It would have to be an emergency. If I was we need something to drink right now, there's nowhere else to get water, I'd go down to the spring. But you can use it for cleaning, you can use it for the animals, you can use it for just about anything else. So I explained that because I didn't have any idea how to do that when I started. No idea at all. It's an entire learning process. Like, and I'm not even saying I have it figured out. I'm saying it's doing as well as it can do right now for what I've learned. And then as we go on, we'll expand, we'll learn more, and we'll do better as time goes on. You can do stuff like this too.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's inspiring, bro. I tell you all the time, it's inspiring.
I only say that because, like, it's not, I don't mind working, and I know some people hate it. But I mean, when I'm working for myself, doing these things, it's like, this is my insulator. Does it fix every problem? No. No, it doesn't. Because I hear a lot of people, too, that are like, you think the answer is to go build a farm or have a homestead. I've heard big names say this. No, I don't think it's the answer. I think it's part of the answer. And I think if you don't have that, you're fucking yourself because you're at the mercy of somebody else. Look, did you know that the water that's used in most cities and townships is actually reused sewage water?
I've heard
Did you
that.
know that?
I've heard in New York City they tested the water and found antibiotics, insulin, like things people take and then shit out and waste, pee out and waste. And it's
Pharmaceuticals.
Pharmaceuticals, and it showed up in tap water coming out of your kitchen sink that you're washing your dishes with and taking
Right.
a shower with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fluoride, which is not, I don't care. People are still lost on that one. They don't understand that at all. Like, they don't understand. Fluoride is a byproduct from making aluminum. It's not a good thing to be ingesting. They're like, it straightens your, it whitens your teeth, or makes your teeth stronger. Tell you something about fluoride. It does make your teeth stronger. Where does it get the calcium from to make your teeth stronger? It comes from your bones. This is what fluoride does to you. You ingest enough fluoride, it makes your teeth stronger, but it makes your bones weaker. The calcium comes from your body.
And
it just moves to your teeth.
Yeah, it calcifies your pineal gland too. Overall.
And it calcifies your pineal gland. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, when you hear big names say that, you know, your home or your farms or your farmstead won't save you, there's no farmer or homesteader that would ever say yes, it will. It will say that it insulates the idea that we have some sort of plan, because the alternative is something we cannot control. We can't control that the wastewater that's recycled is what you're drinking, with a bunch of pharmaceuticals and chemicals into it. So you tell me which one sounds better, smart guy. Oh, it's not going to be the answer. Go fuck yourself, you weirdo. Like, what is the other answer? Like, what else are you going to do? It's the same thing as saying, in the summertime, my house gets hot anyway, so I'm not going to insulate the walls at all. In the wintertime, my house gets cold, so I'm not going to insulate the walls at all. Listen, you fucking retard, it's a hedge. It's a way to hedge your bets against what's inevitable. Like, if you don't do it, then you're at the mercy of the weather outside, or you're at the mercy of the governmental agency that's giving you the water, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, use your fucking head, dude, and stop telling people this retarded ass shit like it's a bad idea. Because what they want to do is they're implying that they want to just gun up and take over. I gave you an example about how that don't work. Like, you don't have another, it's not going to work like the way you're imagining. Like, if you do that, like, go for it, dude. You do that. Go ahead. I will sit back and I'll watch. I will actually cheer you on. Go for it, man. Because what inevitably happens is what we've seen even in Gaza and Lebanon. You know what they attack the most? Civilian infrastructure.
Yeah, and having a farmstead at least gives you time to figure out, okay, we have our small temporary infrastructure when these other people don't have anything. It gives you that little bit of room to take a breath to figure out how to move on from there. So casting the idea aside, like, well, why farmstead's not going to solve the problem, that'll give you the room to maybe figure out the rest of the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, you know, again, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find something, but the idea that it's not a good idea or that the other route is the better idea is just retarded, dude. Like, it really is. Like, you cannot be that dumb. You can't be. Like, I mean, that is just not, it's not a smart move. It's stupid. Anyway, I wanted to point that stuff out in Ireland. I wanted to get your reaction from it because I kind of figured I was pretty close to what I imagined you would say is what you said. And that's not quote unquote wrong in my opinion. It's just not the whole picture. Like, go get him if you got to go get him. I mean, I'm with you. Like, I understand the frustration. The problem is you don't have an alternative. And when they blow the shit up because that's what they do, they would rather rule over the ashes than to let you take it. We see this over and over and over again. So I'm just saying, it might be a good idea before you cheer on the revolution to have a backup plan.
Yeah, and that goes back to medieval times, I believe. It's just a different way of doing it in terms of, they'd rather rule over the ashes, like you said. They'll burn it all down rather than see you stand as opposition doing your own thing that minimizes their power. So, it hasn't changed. We just got new... we're living in the updated, modern version of it.
Yeah. Build a community. Build something. And understand that violence, the way that you're trying to portray it, is not going to be the answer the way that you think that it is. There's always room for violence in the right circumstances. But what some people are suggesting to do, they are completely unprepared for.
Yeah. I think that was kind of wild, them kicking in random doors, like not even like this is where this particular person lives, like randomly kicking over doors, like you're giving them what they want to paint you as the villain. Social media, whatever way, news controlling the narrative. That's exactly what they wanted. Hopefully, it didn't get too violent. It's just what we saw. But that was never going to do anything long term. Never.
I'm going to show you the same people that are cheering this on, what they would look like if it went down. Hold on a second. This made me laugh so hard when I seen it. Hang on. I want to make sure I get the whole thing from the rip, just so you can. All right. Ready?
Yep.
Flag everybody.
We up, straight copy, fuck.
So, fella, get it.
What the fuck is going on?
Guess what that's straight? What the fuck is that straight? I don't know. You up? What up? You up? What up?
These people are not
I mean, as soon as the video starts, the first 2 seconds, I'm watching a lot of muzzle sweeping going on. That's number one. So don't be the first guy in the stack if that's your crew.
I just thought
And he throws the grenade. And it's like you don't wait for. I know it's a fake, but like dummy grenade, you don't wait for it to go off. Like you don't throw it in and then run in the room. You just threw the grenade in.
he bounced it off the wall and it came back at his feet, and they were just like, just keep going. And then the other guy throws the grenade and didn't wait a split second to get into the room. It would have went off in your face.
Yeah.
The whole time they're muzzle sweeping each other. Yeah. I mean, these are the people that, patriots are in charge, right? Like we'll go take on the government and we'll set things straight. These are the people. These are them.
These are the
And
people who spent a lot of time and money accumulating things and did very little time training correctly. Is what I'm gonna like guess. Like they could have all the best plate carriers, bump helmets, the most expensive rifle, flashlights, everything, and they train once every 4 months in a clown car circus kind of way.
I mean, again, it's so short-sighted. Where's your supply chain? What's logistics look like? I don't care even if you're good at doing that. If you're good at CQB and you go in and you actually know what you're doing. Where's your supply chain? Who's backing you? Where's the rest of your crew? Like, what is the context of the situation that you see? Are you going, so you can imagine yourself doing this as fumbling idiots as you are, and then you're going to then do what? Are you going back home? Like, is that, you think your house is still going to be there? Like, you know, I just,
it's a movie.
Again,
it's a movie to a lot.
it is. That's what I'm trying. I'm glad you said that, because that's what I keep trying to point out. These people are watching too many movies. They don't understand how any of this actually works. Like, there's a plan in the United States from the United States government for capitulation of certain areas, no matter what. So that, like, if X happens, Y happens, and Z happens, and some areas of the country they're willing to give up. Most people don't know that. Most people don't understand that, like, you don't have anything built. You are a babe in the woods at the mercy of everything around you. And you don't know what you're doing. And then you watch movies that makes you feel like you could accomplish the same thing in a 30-minute context without understanding how any of it actually works. I don't know, man. I don't know. The whole show, it just seems like such a downer, but I mean, I have to point this out. It drives me nuts.
We could throw a downer show in there, like a full downer show every once in a while. It's a reality check. But yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
Yeah.
And sad. Funny and sad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
oh shit. It's one of these. This is what not to do, boys and girls.
Yeah. When I first watched it and I watched it bounce off the door and they just pretended like it almost didn't happen, I was like,
Yeah, no. And let's to give them the benefit of the doubt. If these guys are like real newbies, brand new, never did anything like this, the instructor right then and there should have stopped and said, "Okay, what did you do wrong? Let's recognize and figure that out and do it again and figure out how you're never gonna fucking do that again." But it's, yeah, keep going. No. I mean, if you're just trying to have fun, but like, what's the point? I don't see the point. But yeah.
What's that fat dude gonna eat? What's that fat dude gonna eat? What are them fat motherfuckers gonna eat? What are they gonna eat whenever
one of those three of those guys had any medical training or any med kit with them, assuming one of his crew members got hit or got shrapnel in his face from the grenade that he threw and like pretty much walked into it. Like what? Like you're just gonna leave your guy there? If you get hurt, does anybody have any other fucking skill? I'm thinking the answer to that is no.
Just as a reality check too, CQB is a no-go. Do not do that. Like, don't do that. It better be extreme circumstances that you actually even try to attempt it. Because everyone has this idea in their head that, like, I'm going to get my short barrel rifle and I'm going to get my kit together and we're going to go kicking indoors. You won't last long. Get that fucking idea out of your head. Like, let me just to put a point on it is that if you talk to anybody that's actually trained in it, they don't want to do it. Like, they don't want to. The best of the best, they don't want to do it because you are not the one that's in control. If you're lucky, you catch somebody off guard, if you're lucky. But if anybody there knows you're coming, you're going to die.
Yeah, that's one of those, you have to do it. If you have to, like, okay, there's there's a, your loved one. You have to go in there. There's no turning away. You got to do it. You got to do it. But chances are you don't know the terrain. You don't know the rooms. You're not going to be CQBing in your own house in those senses. So, like, you don't know what's lurking around the corner. Is there 4 rooms? Are they at the end of the hall? Are they here? Is there a hidden closet? Like, there's so many unknown variables. No, even if you have this higher skill level, you're at an extreme disadvantage. And that's one of those things you could train for but never really be prepared for. And you want to avoid it at all costs unless absolutely necessary. Like, if we don't go through here, we're going to die. We have to go through. All right, then you got to do what you got to do. But you don't want to go do it like, hey, let's go kick in the door and like see what they got. Like, you're going to have to be real lucky. You're playing on. But it's a video game. It's Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty to a lot of these guys. So
You cut out there for a second, but you're back now. Anyway, don't do that. CQB, trust me, you're not prepared for it. I don't know. Anything you want to add?
No, just everybody just, keep doing the right thing. Take your vitamins, eat right, say your prayers, and keep this type of information in the forefront of your mind. And, hopefully these will be skills we'll never need. But if we do need them, you're going to be really wishing you took the time to cultivate them. So, take the information and do it as you wish.
Hold on a second. I just seen Q message me. How about this? That was like 40 minutes ago. How about next week we bring Q in? I don't have a guest for next week. Q, if you want to come on next week, we'll get you in, and then we'll do it then. I didn't even see the message until just now. That's always fun, anyway, Q. And I'll bring up some, maybe it won't be such a, you're not prepared for this fucking show. You know what I mean? But I'm going to close up with this. Lord, guide my words tonight. Help us do your will, now and forever. Amen.
Amen.
And get to building, people. Start building. Start building something now. Think outside the box. Combat is not going to be the answer for what we have that's coming. Defense and self-sufficiency is how you survive what's coming. Why did I freeze like that?
You froze like zombie eyes.
It looked like something crazy happened there. Did you hear me at least?
Yeah, no, the audio was fine.
Okay, something's happening with the computer. It's like cutting out. The screen went black for a second. I guess that's our cue. Again, start building. Build something. Think how I'm trying to relay it and go build some stuff. Insulate yourself in some way. Don't listen to the weirdos that are trying to tell you that this isn't a good idea, because it's the only real idea. Build a community. Find a way to become self-sufficient. Understand what's happening, and they want you to be violent. All right. You guys have a good night. That was the shit show.
See you next